Right, hi everyone. Welcome to the last level, the final boss. So let's have a look what he has in store for us. Okay, so he's going to come up. He's going to fire some kind of missiles at us. So we don't want to get hit by them. Before the second wave, we want to get down here, and then before the third wave, we want to try and get back up here. Now this platform is going to go down, so we have to get on this one, and he's going to put some electrical charges here, which we want to avoid. So don't get hit by them. Okay, and now after that we'll get sent to the second part of this. So this is the last round. So we have to kind of memorize. We have to memorize this. Okay, so a few more times just so I try and remember. Okay, whoops. Okay. Oh, then we have to come down, and then I think it was over this way, but I was a bit too slow there. So if I was a bit faster, I could have gone across the bridge, clicked on the box, and then we would have had the blue button. If we clicked it, we would have been able to get there in the end. Okay, and that would have been the last level. So it's a really exciting one. The timing of this is very hard, but it's really exciting. All right, so let's dive into this last level. All right, so I've designed this middle platform here. So now I'm going to make the boss. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this one. So we need to make these two pillars in the background first. So I've just taken one diamond and just made it a bit bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a rectangle. I'm going to put it, make sure it's about the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it all the way down here. Just going to remove the outline of the shape. I'm going to do the same on the diamond as well. And I'm just going to bring this diamond in front. Okay, and I'm going to choose the color of this side over here, which is a gray. All right, and then I'm just going to copy this to the other side, like so. Again, I'm going to bring the diamond to the front, and I'm going to change this color to the darker side over here. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, except we have to make a gradient here. It goes to merge with the void down here. So let me choose this side, format shape, gradient. Okay, so on the top, I want this color that I just chose. Let me make sure it's the lighter one. Okay, and then at the bottom, I want the same color as this. Okay, very good. And now I'm just going to bring this a tiny bit up over here. And actually I can maybe, yeah, let's bring this a tiny bit up. I'm just going to click here to make another one. And this one I'm going to bring the transparency all the way to 100. I'm also going to click another time here to put another color. And I'm going to choose the same color over here as the light one. And I'm just going to bring it down. Okay, so that actually looks pretty nice. And then what I'm going to do here is a really fast way to copy the gradient on this side is if you go to home, you'll see you have a button here in the clipboard area. It says format painter. So if I click this and choose the other shape, it will copy the same gradient. And all I need to do is just change this gray to this darker gray. And I'll do the same for this one. All right, so we've got two sides over here. So we've got our first pillar. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to group these together. And I'm just going to copy this again, and I'm going to send it to the back. Okay, and then I'm just going to put it in a nice position. So they're kind of like together over here. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so now it's time to do these boss faces. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this and paste it again, and I'm going to ungroup it this time. Okay, and then I'm going to click this diamond and copy this diamond, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make this a bit bigger, and I'm going to change the angle of it so it's about the same angle as the screenshot. Okay, so yeah, let me just make sure it's nice. I've got the right angle. Okay, so it's about perfect. And now what I'm going to do is we don't want to cut it all the way, do we? So we want to cut it maybe about here. It's going to be quite nice. Yeah, I think that should be okay. All right, maybe a bit, yeah, maybe a bit more this way. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this rectangle, and then I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to subtract the shape like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that one more time. I'm just going to copy the triangle again. And this time I want to get that shape. So I just need to make it a bit bigger. And I'm going to rotate very slightly. Okay. Yep. So that's about right. And I want to make sure it's lined up with the other one. And then I'm just going to copy this diamond because I need to use it later. I'm going to subtract this shape as well. Okay, and then I'm going to copy that diamond one more time, and I'm going to subtract the shape from this rectangle. So now I have this. Now I just have to clean everything else. So let's remove the other shapes. Okay, so something like this would be quite nice. And then I just have to clean all the ones down here as well. So let me make this diamond a bit bigger. Select the rectangle. Okay, don't worry about the color now. We'll fix that in a minute. And then we're just going to cover this shape. Make that, whoops, and make this one a bit bigger. Okay, click that rectangle, and then we're going to cut this shape. All right, so it's not looking too bad, except we don't want this gradient here. So this time I'm going to put a solid fill, and I'm going to choose the darker gray. And then I'm going to do the same for this side, solid fill, and then the lighter gray. Okay, so now we have the head of the boss. Okay, so I can group this. And now we have to cut this shape from the one down here. So I'm going to copy this group again. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup it. I'm going to take this away. I'm also going to copy this head, and I'm going to ungroup this one. Okay, actually maybe I shouldn't take that diamond away. Okay, so let me just copy this head and ungroup it. Now I'm going to use this rectangle over here as a guide. So I'm going to put it at the top over here. So where the diamond was before. All right, so this is looking good. And now I'm going to choose this rectangle, choose this shape, and I'm going to subtract this shape. Okay, so now I have this. And then I'm going to do exactly the same for this one. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to bring it over here. I'm also going to align it to where it was before, which was right there. Put it, okay. Let me just zoom in to make sure everything's okay. Okay, so something like that. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to cut the shape. All right. All right, so now I see a little line in the middle here. So don't worry. I'm going to use this diamond. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. And I'm going to cut that line away so we can't see it. So I'm not sure if it's on this rectangle or this one. So I'm going to do both. Okay, so it's not this rectangle, it's going to be this one. Okay, so now there's no line here, which is really, really good. So now we want to make it 3D by putting this kind of grayish box behind. So now we don't need these anymore. So let's make a rectangle. Something a little bit like this. No outline. And I'm going to rotate it the same angle as the one in the picture. Let me just make it a darker gray as well. Okay, so that's the right angle. Let me bring it back over here. I'm going to put it into position, which is right here. And then I'm going to bring these two in front. And I'm just going to make this rectangle a bit smaller. I think it's about here. Let me check the picture again. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's about maybe a bit less. Okay, so something like that is perfect. So now I can just group these together. And now we have the bottom. So I'm going to make sure that this head will fit on top. So let me bring it to the front. And should fit very nicely. There we go. So the head is fitting quite nicely. We just need to change the gradient here because I don't want to see the head coming down here. So let me click this rectangle. And I'm just going to move it a bit down. Okay, good. I'll do the same for this one as well. All right. Okay, so that looks perfect. Okay, so good job. We've got the head. Let me just move it up. Okay, so that actually looks really, really nice. Good job, everybody. Now all we have to do is we can copy this. Let's just move one into place. And we can, actually we should make the eye as well before we stop. So let's just make a little diamond. My diamond. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so it doesn't look too bad. I just have to change the angle a little bit on here. Okay, I know a better way to do this. So just put a square over here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And then what I can do is I can use this diamond over here. So let me just ungroup it. We're going to use the diamond to get some clear angles. Okay. So let me just make sure I have the shape I want. Okay, I'm going to put it here. So that's the angle I kind of want to get. So I'm going to cut the diamond shape. Let me copy this first. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same down here as well. Don't worry about the size. We can make it a bit bigger later. And then we just need a rectangle now for the two sides. Okay, so subtract this one. And then we'll do exactly the same on the other side. Okay, and then let's subtract this. Okay, beautiful. No outline. Okay, so now we have the eye. I can make it a little bit bigger until I'm happy. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, does it? Okay, so I'm going to put it nicely in the center over here. And that's it. We can group them up right now. Let me just put the head back on here. And now I'm going to just copy the whole thing. And we're going to put that one behind. So let me just move this one forward. Bring to front. Okay, and then we can just put it into position. Okay, so we now have the boss's head. And later we're going to use these, just move them up. Yeah, we're going to use these later. All right, guys, so that's the first part out the way. All right, guys, so this is what we have right now. So don't worry about this platform. We're going to hide this for now, and then later we're going to use it. But right now, I just want to focus on this main stage. So right at the beginning, maybe the first 2 seconds after the slide begins, we want these two heads to kind of come up like this. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to put a motion path animation with both of these heads selected, except I don't want them to come down. I want them to both come up. So I'm going to move it up to about maybe about here. And I'm also going to move this one up to about here. Okay, so actually maybe we can lower them a slight amount. Whoops, make sure I've got the yeah, so I'm going to lower it a slight amount. Okay, and maybe I'll lower this one a slight amount as well, so it's in the frame. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with this result. So if I go to the animation pane, I'm going to make sure that they start with previous. And I'm also going to make sure that I delay it. Let's put timing. Let's delay by 2 seconds. And we're going to make the heads come up quite quickly. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Okay, good. So they'll come up 2 seconds after the beginning of the slide. This is exactly what we want. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a lot of stars, and we're going to hide them under here so the player cannot see them. So let's go to shapes. Let's go to our star. Where are the stars? Okay, down here. And we're going to choose the 7-point star. So we know these already. I'm going to make this one red. No outline. I'm also going to put a little glow on here. Maybe we can put a red glow. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. All right, and then I might just kind of make it a little bit 3D. So I'm just going to put it down a little bit like this. Okay, good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my selection pane, click on this star. So all of my stars are going to be here. And I'm just going to duplicate this. So Control C, and I'm going to paste it quite a few times. All right. So we can just start with these. And then remember the quick way to arrange them into the middle. Align center and align middle. So we've got them nicely grouped together. So I'm going to put them over here. And I'm going to make sure that this is in front. So we cannot see it. Bring to front. And I also want to test this. Okay, so we might have to bring it up a little bit as well. Okay, so let me choose all my stars again. And I'm going to bring them to about here. So we shouldn't be able to see them. Okay, so I'm going to test this one more time. Let's bring them up. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. So I think that will be fine. Okay, so now this is going to be the tricky part, is the animation of these. So if we go back to the animation pane, and I want to also go to my selection pane too. So they'll both appear here. I'm going to click on the star over here, and I'm going to put an animation on it. Okay, so you can't see it, but we're going to put a motion path. So I'll put it to about here. Well, we can put them in random directions. That would be a lot better. I'm going to put another motion path. So just focus on putting these in random positions. I'm going to do the same. So I'll be back when my one is done. All right, so now you should have something like me. They're kind of scattered in random positions. So now I've just selected all of those stars, and I'm just going to apply an exit fade animation on them. So they will disappear. And now if I go to the animation pane, I need to sort out a few things. So right now, I can see both of the heads are coming up. They will come up 2 seconds after the beginning of the slide. And basically, I want these stars to start flying out maybe 1.5 seconds after the heads appear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first one. I'm going to put after previous. So it's going to happen after the heads come up. Timing. Okay, I think 2 seconds is fine. I'm going to delay it by 1.5 seconds. So that should look okay. So let's see how that looks. Okay, so it will come flying out. Good. All right, and then I'm going to make sure all of these are selected, and I'm going to make sure they happen with previous. And now this is going to be the fun part. Is I'm right now they're happening all at the same speed, so it looks a bit boring. So let's see. The heads will come up. 1.5 seconds later, they will start coming up, but they're all coming up at the same speed. So I think we should change this. I think we should make some slower, and we should make some a bit faster. So let's make this one 3 seconds. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to make this one a little bit faster this time. So maybe 1 second instead. Sorry, 1 second. Maybe this one I'll make 3.5. So 3.5 seconds. And so on. Okay, I think you get the picture. Let's make this one 1 second as well. Okay, and then I'm going to make this, I'm going to be really naughty here and put 0.5 seconds. Okay, so now if we preview this, let's put them up, and 2 seconds later, okay, so you see we've got something quite tricky here. Okay, or what I could do is I could delay the start time of some of these, so I can put some a bit forward, some a bit back. That might be a little bit better. So we can try this and see how that works. Let's see. Let's move some of these back as well. All right, now let's preview this. It's all about the testing. So the heads come up. Okay. Well, it's not too bad, but we could make it a bit smoother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on all of these animations, and I'm going to put a smooth end. So if I go to Effect Options, smooth, not smooth start, and I'll put a smooth end. Okay, something like this. So that should be a bit nicer. Let's see. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, good. And now I want all of them to disappear after each other. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit trickier. So I'm going to put these up under their, I'm going to put after previous. Okay, so something like that. Actually, maybe we can put with previous, and then yeah, drag it over here. Okay, so if you see what I'm doing, it's going to start fading out halfway through its journey. So that's exactly what I want. I want something like this. So let me make this a bit bigger. I'm going to do exactly the same for all of these. So let's move this up. I'm going to move it to about here. That's when I want it to start fading out. I'm going to do exactly the same with the others. So I'm going to move it. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me zoom in so it'll be a bit easier for me to see. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit better. All right. And so on. I'm just going to continue the last ones, and then I'll skip ahead, and you can do the same as me. All right, guys. So now when you've got the same as me, okay, so you can see I've moved all the exit fades just under where they finish their motion path. So if we preview this, it actually has got a really nice effect. So the heads come up, and then the stars, and they come and they start fading out. That's exactly what we want. Okay. Now I've done a little mistake here. I've only just realized it. So I forgot to put the action on my stars. So remember when the mouse touches it, we want it to go back to the previous slide. So slide 36. So I'm going to go to Insert. So with my first star selected, Action. And then I'm going to go to Mouse Over, Link to, Slide, and slide 36. All right, I'm just going to do the same for all of these. So I'll join you when I'm done. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the selection pane. I'm going to choose this star over here, and I'm going to copy and paste it right over here. I'm just going to remove this animation on it for the time being. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that there's already an action on here. So when mouse over, it goes to slide 36. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to put, well, I'm going to put it here with all of the others first. And then I'm going to put a motion path. Okay, so I don't want it to go down. I want it to come here, but we're going to shoot maybe 10 of them at the same time. And they're literally just going to come maybe maybe 1 or 0.2 seconds after each other. Okay, so I'm going to put one over here. Okay, and then later it will fade out. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. So let's just move this to the other star. So I'm going to put it down here. And then I'm going to go to my, well, actually, I'm going to copy this a few times. So let's just copy this once. Okay, I'm going to put once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I'm just gonna group these up with the quick way that I showed you how. So go to Home, Arrange, Align, Middle, and Center. So align middle. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go back to the selection pane. I'm just gonna drag these to here, and I'm just gonna move them into the right position, which is about here. Okay, good. So now let's go back to the animation pane. Okay, so I can see they're all, oops, this is my selection pane, so animation pane. So they're all down here, which is exactly what we want. Now, I am going to keep them the same duration, and then I'm going to move all of these. So I'm going to select them all first. I'm going to make sure they happen, so let's move them actually out here first. So I'm going to give it maybe a 3-second delay before all of these start shooting out. Okay, so now I've done this. Now I can put with previous. Okay, I'm going to make this a bit bigger so it's a lot easier for me to see. Okay, this is good. And then I'm just going to move it very slightly. So 0. Okay, so we can do this. We can just move them a little bit in front of the other. So this is really good. So I'm going to do the same for all of them. And then we can preview this effect. Okay, so let's see what we've got so far. So if I preview this, let's move this over here. So don't worry about these. I'm going to move them later. So let's just preview what we have. So at the beginning, we have these random stars which will shoot out. And then we have a few second delay. And then we should have all of these other stars moving. So let's see. Okay, yeah, that's what we want. Okay, but we're going to move the position of those stars. Okay, so let's come over here. So I'm just going to select all of these. Maybe I can just bring them a bit closer. Okay. And I'm also going to change their duration, I think. So instead of making them 2 seconds, let's make them a bit slower. Let's make them 3 seconds. Okay, over here. All right, so that should work quite well. So before I do anything else, let's just make sure this is working. Okay, yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, now let me just go to the selection pane. I'm going to make sure these stars are going to be with the other stars behind the heads. So let me bring it over here. And I'm just going to move them into position, which is about here. All right. And now it's time for me just to move these into the position I'm happy with. So let's have a look. So the one which is selected is going to have a red circle. So I'm going to put it somewhere here. The next one I'm going to put somewhere here. Actually, let's make it a bit wider. Okay, and so on. I'm just going to put them where I'm happy with. All right, I'm going to stop the video. You can do the same as me. Okay, do it for all the other ones. Okay, so you should have something which now looks like me. So I put them in the places I'm happy with, and I've also moved them their place in the timeline. So the first one happens, and then they each happen a few like point something seconds afterwards. All right, so now I'm going to go back to this tab. I'm going to select all of the stars that I copied and pasted the second time, and I'm going to put the exit fade animation. And then I'm just going to go back to the timeline. I'm going to make sure that these happen with previous, and I'm going to move them up like I did before. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to move it under this one, and I'm just going to drag it to where I feel happy with. Okay, so yeah, something right at the end over here. It's exactly what we want. And then I'm just going to do the same for all of the other ones. I'm going to take this next one and drag it up underneath the next. So I'll see you in a minute when my ones are done. All right, guys, so you should now have something that looks a little bit like me. So let's go to the timeline, and we can preview what we have so far. So let's see the heads come up. The first stars start shooting. Okay. And then we're going to see the next part. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, good. So they come up and then they fade out. All right, it's exactly what we want. Okay, very good. Okay, so next, let me just move this over. So next, part 3, I'm going to do exactly the same thing like I did here. So I'm going to take those 10 stars that I've just made, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them. So I'm going to copy them right over here. I'm also going to move them right under, so under 40. I'm just going to put them into position with the other ones. Now this time, I'm going to do exactly the same with the animations over here. Okay, lucky they already have the motion path and the exit animations, so this is really good. So I'm going to make sure, again, I leave 2 seconds after this last one has finished here. And now this time, I want those stars to come this direction. So I want the first one to come here, the next one to come here, and so on. So then the player has to come back up the stairs this way. Okay, and then that will be the main that main part finished. All right, so I'm going to do it. It's exactly the same as I just showed you for part 2, except we're going to do it with these ones here, with the 10 we just copied. All right, so I'll be back in a minute when I'm done. All right, guys, so now you should have something which looks like me. So we've got the 2 heads coming up, and then 1.5 second afterwards, we have the 10 random stars appearing. And then after that, we have another 1 second pause. And then we have the next 10 stars. They're coming out 0. 0.1 or 0.2 seconds after each other, and then they're fading out. And then the last 10 stars, exactly the same thing. There's a 1 second pause. and they're happening very close together after each other. So let's have a look at what this looks like. So if I go to current slide, let's see. So the heads come up. The first wave of random stars comes up. Okay, then there should be a 1.5 second gap, and then these stars will come and then fade away. So then the player will be over here, and then the player will be forced to come over this side. Okay, so that's exactly what we want. So very good. Now after that third wave, there's going to be a 2 seconds gap where this will appear, and then this platform will come down. So the player will have to get onto this platform before this one goes down. Okay, so yeah, we're doing well, guys. We're doing well. So let's move on to the next part. All right, guys. So now we should have something that looks like this, and we're going to work on the next part. So I've made this board over here. I'm going to put it into position, which is right over here, and I'm going to rename this group. Let me find it. Okay, so I'm going to call it guide. Okay, later we're not going to use. We're going to delete this, but for the moment we're going to call it guide. And then I'm just going to copy this group. So whoops, I'm going to copy and paste. Okay, now in the original game, the two tiles at the front came out first, and then the following two, and then the following two, and then the last two. So that means I'm going to have to ungroup these, and I'm going to uh, select the two S's here and the two tiles and group these together. I'm going to do the same. Remember to group. Control G will group them. So make sure these are selected. Group, and then the last two as well. I will group them together. Control G. Okay, so let me just make sure we have the groups over here. Okay, so we have group 178, and then this one is 179. Okay, so we're going to close some of these so they're easier to see. Let's close all of these. It's going to make things a lot easier to see later. So this one is group 178. Okay, so I want 179 to appear behind 178. So yeah, here. Okay, and then 180 is going to appear behind 179. And then this one, okay, it's already in the right place. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we've got the positioning correct. So now we're going to put these into the correct position. So I'm going to just select all of those. I'm going to bring them over here. Something that looks like that. All right, so that looks pretty nice. And now I'm going to go to animations, and I'm going to put fade in on all of those groups that I just selected, those 4 groups. Okay, so don't worry about the timing of them just yet. We're going to work on this in a minute. Okay, so if I go back to the animation pane, you'll see that we have these animations over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the first one happens after previous, but I'm also going to make sure there's a delay. So I'm going to move it maybe 1 second afterwards. And then I'm going to move this one as well. So it happens just afterwards as well. And then this one, and then and then finally this last one as well. It's a bit hard to select. Okay, here we go. All right. So now we're going to put the motion path. So I'm going to click on the first group. And now this is where the guide is going to help us. So I'm going to put a motion path here. I don't want it to go down, so I'm going to moved it up into position. I'm going to use the guide to help me. So it's going to go right on top of those tiles here. Okay, good. I'm going to do exactly the same for the next set of tiles. So put another motion path. And actually, before I do that, let's just make sure that this motion path is happening at the same time as this one appears. So I'm going to drag it just under. I'll play with this in a moment. Let's put the motion path on this one. Again, we're going to use a guide. Let's bring it up. I'm going to put it on top of these two tiles. And then we're going to do the same. I'm going to move this up to the second one over here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same with the next two as well. So this is where it gets quite messy. We have so many animations happening at exactly the same time. Okay, and then exactly the same. I'm just going to move this one up. And then the same for the last two tiles. So motion path. I'm going to bring it up to the top. I'm going to put it on top of these two tiles. Okay, so now we can delete the guide. We don't need this guide anymore. Okay, so now we need to play with this one. So group 181. So group 181. So I have to put this motion path under it. I'm going to make sure it happens with previous. This one's going to happen after previous. So I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to make sure that it happens after previous. Okay, so this is good. So just to keep consistency, I'll put the motion path under this time. Okay, so fade in 180. So 180 should be here. Okay, I'm going to make sure it happens with the previous. So 179 should appear on top of 179 here. So let's have a look. 178 should be in front of 178. Okay, so now that's the right order. Okay, so with previous, and then the last one should happen with previous. Okay, so I'm just going to move these around a little bit. I want this to happen with previous as well. I'm just going to move it so it happens a little bit later. This one's going to happen with previous. With previous as well. Just going to make it, yeah, so that's going to be okay. And then the last one with previous as well. Then I'm just going to move it over here and with previous. Okay, so now we have all of these. So let's see how it looks. All right, so the two heads come up. We should have the first wave of random stars appearing. Okay, and then the second wave, they're targeting the top of the platform. And then the third wave will target the bottom of the platform and force the player to run up. Okay, so now the next platform should come up. Okay. All right, well, I think it's fine right now. We just have to order them so they're appearing correctly. Right now, the end appeared before the first one. So we need to make sure that's not happening. So 178 should happen first, then 179, then 180, then 181. So in that order. So if I go back to the animation pane, Okay, so you see 181 was happening first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move 178. So 179. So I'm going to put 180 under this. Okay, and then I'm going to put 181 under 180. So now this is the right order, but now I need to move these around again. So let's put this one after previous. I'm just going to make sure it happens a few seconds later. And then with previous. Okay, so now I can just move these. Whoops. Okay, with previous as well. Okay, this one's going to be with previous. And then I'm going to make sure that happens with previous as well. Okay, so now we should have the order correct. Okay, so try it and let's see what you come up with. All right, guys, so we made the this platform come up over here. Now, when all of these have appeared and are in the position, I now want all of this platform to go down and disappear. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the animations. I'm going to put the motion path. So we want it to come down. I think we're going to keep it here. And then I'm also going to select it and I'm going to put a fade out animation. Okay, so now let me go to the animation pane. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so we can see the whole pane. Okay, so it's going to happen after this one. Okay, so when all the platform here has appeared, then this main platform will come down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put after previous. So it's going to happen afterwards. And maybe I'm just going to leave a little delay here. Okay, and then this one is going to happen at the same time. So with previous, so it's going to happen at the same time. And I'm going to move this so it happens. Okay, so something like that looks quite nice. All right, just put it about halfway. Okay, so that's good. So this platform will come down and then it will also fade out at the same time. And it's going to happen after this second platform has come up. All right. Okay, so at the moment, let's test out what we have. Let's go to the preview, or actually, let's go to the slide. So let's see. So a few seconds. Okay, so the first wave of stars comes out in a random order. Again, play with the position and timing. You can make it faster or slower. So this is the second wave. And then we should have the third wave. Okay, so this is what we have. And then this platform should appear up. Okay, good. And then this next one should come down and fade out. Okay, so that's exactly what we want. Okay, now at this point, what the boss is going to do is he is going to choose some tiles and he's going to put electricity on those tiles. But before he does that, these tiles will be a dark purple color. That's just to show the player where the electricity is going to be. And then after a very quick second, then the electricity will touch that square. And if the person is on that square, they're out of the game. All right, so that's going to be the next part. All right, guys. So what I've done here is I've designed two things. I've designed this tile over here. It's exactly the same as this one, except it's a different color. I've just copied this blue tile from the other levels, and I've just designed this lightning strike or electricity strike here. So we're going to need these ones, so you can design them. And what I'm going to do before anything else is I'm going to take all of these, I'm going to copy them, and I'm just going to group them together. And I'm just going to remove any animations on it. Okay, there's no animations, so that's really good. The reason is I'm just going to use this as a guide. So I'm just going to put it here, and I'm going to use it as a guide for where to position these purple tiles and these electricity tiles. Okay, so what's going to happen if I zoom in is first the player is going to see these purple tiles fading in. So I'm just going to bring this to the front. They're going to see the purple tiles fading in, and then very quickly after that, the electricity strike is going to come. And if the player's getting hit by that electricity, they're out of the game. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose 3. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to copy one more and paste it, maybe over here. I'm going to choose 3 locations where I want the electricity to go first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on all of those, and I'm going to put an animation on them, and I'm going to put a fade in animation. Okay, so they're going to fade in quite quickly, and then a strike is going to happen. So I'm going to take this. Going to make, okay, so that's one group. Just going to make sure. Yep, and then we've got the lightning strike. Okay, so I want the lightning strike to be separated. I also want this one to be separated because we cannot put a link to a group. You see it's blanked out. So I'm going to ungroup this first. Actually, maybe we can, yeah, so I can't put a link onto a group, so I have to ungroup this one first. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this 3 times. Paste. I'm going to move it over the selected area. So over here, let me just zoom in, make sure that's in the right place. Okay, let's do this one first. Okay, so something like that is nice. I'm gonna paste it again, right on top of this purple tile here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this one and move it into position over here. So I'm going to have to, whoops, I'm going to have to select this one. I'm just going to bring it to front first. And then I'm going to move it into position. Okay, so something like that is going to look nice. I'm just going to take this one and bring this one to front. Bring this to front. Whoops, I forgot to select the S. Okay, bring this one to front. Okay, so that's not actually looking bad, is it? Okay, so now I want this, and this. I want all of those electricity things to appear very, very quickly. So let me just select the groups. Okay, I'm going to select these groups. This diamond as well. This diamond as well. And this one. So I'm going to have to make sure all of these are selected. All right, so I'm quite happy with that. They're all selected. I'll just move them just to check. Okay, so yep, so they're all selected. Then I'm going to go to animations. And what I'm going to do is just appear. It's going to be very, very fast. Okay, so they're just going to appear. Very quick strike. All right, so now let me go to the animation pane. We have to organize this animations over here. So I know these are the purple tiles here. And I want to make sure this happens after previous. So after these two. So after the main board has come down, I want these, whoops. I want this to happen maybe 2 seconds later. Let's give the player enough time to get themselves ready for the next round. Okay, so those purple tiles are going to fade in 0.5 seconds, and then bang, we're going to have a lightning strike. Okay, and then we've got the lightning strikes already over here. So I'm going to select all of these. Okay, I'm going to make sure all of these happen after previous. Okay, so that should be okay. So I can see the purple tiles fade in, and then bang, the electricity strikes all at the same time. Okay, now I want them to disappear after the strikes as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to select these groups. Let me just close them so it's going to be easy for us. And then we'll know which ones we're selecting. Okay, so I want this group, and the diamond. I also want this group, and the diamond. I want this group, and the diamond. Okay, good. And then I want those purple diamonds as well. So let's see. Okay, this one, and this one. So I've got all of them selected. I can just move them just to check. Yep, I've got them selected. Okay, now I'm going to go to disappear. Okay, so I want them to disappear quite quickly. Okay, so they're going to disappear. So if I go back to the animation timeline, let's move this along. Okay, so I want them to happen after this. So after previous, and I want to make sure it happens maybe 1 second after the lightning appears. So I'm just going to move them here. All right, so that actually looks pretty good. I'm going to just take off this first one and put with previous. All right. I'm just going to make sure I've done with previous with this one as well. The first one at the top should happen after this, and then the rest should happen with previous. Okay. All right. Well, let's preview this. Let me just close this one down. Let's preview what we have. So the heads come up. Okay, don't worry about this platform here. I'm going to delete it later. This was just a guide for us. Okay, so the second wave comes, and then the third wave comes. All right, and then the platform will animate up, and then the stairs will go down and fade out. All right, and then, okay, you see that? The purple tiles came, and then bang, the electricity came. I think we just need a slight, maybe 0.1 second later for the lightning to come down, just to give the player a bit of time to get off of those purple tiles. So I see that timing was very quick. I'm going to take this guide and remove the guide. Well, I'll need it here for later, so I won't remove it just now. So let's go to the animation pane. Okay, so I want to move this maybe about here. Yeah, I think that will be pretty good. And I'm going to just select all of these and make sure they happen with previous. Okay. So I think I'm quite happy with this one. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly the same steps, but for all of the other purple tiles. So I'm going to put them in different positions. I'm going to do maybe 4 or 5 waves of these purple and electricity tiles. And then this round will be finished. I'm going to do exactly the same as this one. Okay, so I'm going to put the purple tiles. Okay, so the purple tiles will appear. And then after that, the electricity will appear. And then after that, the electricity will disappear. So I'm just going to move them. I'm going to do the same for all of the other waves. And I'm just going to follow the same format here. Okay, so I'm going to do it. And I'll see you when I'm done. All right, guys. So what I've done here is I've only done 2 waves, just for the sake of the video. I'm going to keep it short, but you can make 5 waves. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the animation pane and show you what I've done. So you can see here the 4 purple tiles, sorry, the 3 purple tiles at the beginning appeared, and then bang, the electricity appeared. And then after that, the purple tiles and the electricity disappeared very quickly afterwards. And then the same thing, the next 4 tiles that I copied, they fade in. And then right after that, bang, the electricity comes down. And then the purple tiles and the electricity disappear. So what I would do is I would do this 3 more times. I would copy them and then put them in different places. And after that, after I'm done 5 rounds, it will be finished. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that the player is on this tile. So on this tile by the end of the 5 waves. Now the reason is if I keep my mouse here, so if I keep my mouse here and I go to the next slide, look where my mouse is. My mouse is on this tile. That's exactly where we want it to be. So you want to force the player to get on this tile. So on the wave 5, I'm going to put the whole platform to have purple except this tile. That will be the only white tile. The only place for the player to go will be here. And then what we can do is we can send the player to the next slide. Okay, so to send the player to the next slide without clicking anything, I'm going to go to transition. I'm going to keep none here. And what I want to do first is I want to see how long this slide is. So if I go to the animation pane and I go all the way down to the bottom and I scroll down here, it will show me how many seconds this is. So this is about 39 seconds. But what I'm going to do at 41 seconds, I'm going to move the player to the next slide. Okay, so 41 seconds. So if I go to transitions, none. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to not click on mouse click. I'm going to make sure this is not ticked. And I'm going to put 41 seconds here. Okay, click enter. And then I'm going to put duration, 0. Maybe 0.3 seconds over here. All right, so I should have something like this. And now let's test it out. So let's see. Let's see what we have. So the heads will come up. And then we have our normal barrage. Okay, the second wave. And then the third wave. I really should make that faster. Okay, so then this platform comes up and then the stairs will go down. And then I've put 2 waves here. So the first 3 and then bang, the electricity comes. Bang, the electricity comes. And now, you see that? 41 seconds, the player gets taken to the next slide. And we already know what to do here. The yellow platform, we know about the bridge. We know how to do these 2 boxes here. And then we know that when we click on the blue tile, the green one will come down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. So pause the video and you can design this next slide. And then I'm going to show you what to do with the green tile. So the green tile is going to come down in the middle over here. So I'm just going to copy this green tile over here, bring it to this slide, and I'm going to put it here. All right, so let me just go to the animations. So I'm going to make sure that this is going to fall down in the correct position. So let me just move this out of the way. Okay, so it's going to come here. All right, so I'm happy with the positioning on this. And remember, I want this to happen when I click on blue, remember? So I'm going to make sure it happens when I click on blue. And now I just need to move those 3 other animations under blue. All right. So I'm quite happy with this. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to make one more slide. I'm going to duplicate it. And now what I'm going to do is on this slide, I'm going to remove all of the animations. So we don't need any of these animations anymore. So I'm just going to hold select and easily select all of them. And I'm going to delete everything. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to make this tile really, really big to cover the whole screen. Something like this. So nicely in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to transition and I'm going to click morph. So look what happens. So we're going to have morph here. All right, so let's see this. When I click on the green tile, I want it to go to slide 39. So let's have a look. I'm just going to get the blue tile, and then we click on it, and we get taken to the next slide, which is really cool. Okay, and that will be the end of the game. Maybe we could also put a message here. I think we know how to do that. We can put a text here saying like well done or something. It's completely up to you. And yeah, that will be the end of the series. So let me put transition. Maybe I can make this to 4 seconds instead. Maybe 5 seconds to make it go a bit slower. So let me preview that one more time. And then let's see. Yeah. Okay. But we don't want that box to appear over here, do we? So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete this one as well. And then put the green tile back to where it was. Okay, one final preview. And there we go. That's exactly what I want. Okay, so guys, this whole series, you've learned how to make all of these 18 levels here. But there are a few things that we can do to make it a bit cooler. So in the last lesson, what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to teach you how to add music and how to add sounds to your animation. So for example, if we get the electricity, every time the electricity appears, maybe we can get a zzz sound or something. Or every time I click on the ice, maybe we can get an ice sound, like ice breaking. We could even put the background music on the slide to make it more fun to play. So I'm going to show you all of this in the next lesson. So I can't wait to get stuck into it. All right, guys, enjoy.